Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana here with another coffee time at Wocky Pots Studio. What number are we up to now, Diana? This is number
82.
82. We have lots of stuff to talk about today. You want to break it down for us? What are we going to talk about?
Sure. We're going to go back over last week. We had lots of fun things that happened last week. And then we have a question from a subscriber. And then we're going to be talking about some new things going on this week.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Well, let's get right into last week.
Yes.
Last week was a lot of fun. I cannot believe it's only been a week since we did our Monday mug marathon.
Yes.
But we had so much fun. Thank you everybody who tuned in and watched that video. And you can see the fruits of our labor right here on the table in front of us. These are all 19 of the mugs that we made on that day. We did not spend as much time hand building in the afternoon. We ran out the clock a little too tight. But we did have a lot of fun making these things.
We did. And you will notice that some of these already are wearing glazes and ready to go in for a glaze fire. And that's because they've been bisqued.
You're right. We took a couple of these
them.
and we put them in the bisque fire. And we're going to talk about that bisque fire again in a moment.
Yeah.
But you'll see there's one on my side and one on Diana's. Actually, two on Diana's side.
Yes, and there's two on yours too.
It's two on mine. That's right. These guys that have already been bisqued and glazed, and they will be going in our next glaze firing. Now, you may, if you're looking very careful, you might notice that there are some weird things going on with a couple of our mugs. We have started doing a thing that we first heard about from Jessica Putnam Phillips, who is an extremely talented ceramic artist. She waxes her handles to help keep them from cracking during the drying process, and so we are trying to do that with this first load of pottery. We've not tried it before, but we're trying it now, and we'll talk about that as well. But first of all, it's talking about the pieces that are on the table. Diana did have one piece that we declined to add a handle to, even though we threw it on our mug marathon Monday. We declined to add a handle to this little whiskey cup because it's going to be so pretty and so awesome without a handle. Yeah. And then we also declined to put a handle on my soup mug that was really not a mug at all. This bowl is not getting a handle, even though I threw it then with the intention of putting a handle on it to make it a soup mug. It's just too large for that. I don't think that would be a good look for it. But we did get all the other handles on. There's a couple of different kinds of handles. We tried a couple of different shapes. I think one of your mugs, I'm trying a single finger upside down.
Yes.
That guy upside down handle. We're going to see how ergonomic that is after it's all thrown.
Yes, and you did hear him say that he tried on mine, and that's because for the majority of my mugs, I did trim some of them and put the handles on some, but for the majority of mine, you did take care of trimming and putting handles on.
It's because I love you so much.
Yes, and I was busy. I was busy glazing.
You really were.
Yes, because we did have the glazing day. You said you were going to talk about the waxing.
Right. Okay.
So let's make sure we do that. Yep. I'm afraid we'll forget.
So we hardly ever use wax in the studio.
I've used that for sgraffito.
Very rarely. Yeah. Like we've had this bottle for a while and there's not even a quarter of an inch missing. So
and when I say that, I did it on one dish.
Right. We don't use it very often. However, one of the issues when mugs are drying, after you've trimmed the mug, get it to the right shape and get all the extra clay off, and then you put the handle on, if the mug and the handle don't dry at the exact same rate, then they will shrink at different rates. And that difference in shrinking causes cracks. Now, it is doubly problematic because oftentimes the handle is thicker than the mug body. So it's a very delicate balancing act to get the drying exactly right. And although we haven't had problems recently, you will recall that several months ago, We were having serious problems with the handles cracking, and that's because we were trying to rush our process and dry things too fast. Wax completely sublimates in the kiln, totally disappears and goes away, and we had no problems with those two. We rushed them through pretty quickly when you consider that these are already bisqued and ready to go in the glaze load, and it's only been a week. That's pretty fast turnaround for a mug. So we're very anxious to see how that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesday, we had a raku firing.
I cannot believe I did not take pictures. We have a video of me doing the raku firing, but I did not take pictures of those two pieces. And I'm a little wrecked about that because we fired the two pots, just small vases, in our electric Vivor kiln. And we fired them Tuesday, cleaned them up, took them to the market, and sold one of the pieces the following day on the Wednesday, and then the other piece on Saturday. So both pieces sold, and they did not stick around long enough for me to get a good picture of them. But well, we will show either a still from the video or an actual clip from it.
We also had our kiln unload last week that came out, and when that went to the market on Saturday, and there are very few pieces left from that kiln unload.
You must see that video of our kiln unload.
Mainly, guys, it was the saucers. Remember those saucers that I was testing out? The new crackle, the crawl.
The crawl.
The white speckle crawl. And I had tried that on them. Only one of those sold, and we had 10 of them.
But they look fabulous.
We're
going to be using that glaze a lot.
And I know I had a suggestion from someone about doing the crawl glaze on the inside and leaving the rim with just the base glaze. And I think that's a great suggestion. So I want to try that too. And so we had that kiln unload come out. Very successful market on Saturday. And then
most of the stuff from that kiln load sold.
Yes.
We did have a piece that we adopted. One piece did not go to the market. And you may notice that for the first time, probably first time ever, I'm using a different mug. This is actually a mug that I made. I won't say that it is 100% my favorite mug that I've ever made, but it is getting pretty close. This mug did not make it to the market because there is a tiny little crack on the bottom of the mug that does not go through, that doesn't show up in the glaze. It's only a tiny little crack in the bottom. I will show you a picture of it, but it is enough of a tiny little crack that we would not put it on the table. But the other pieces that I made that Diana glazed with this combo, it was a covered dish and a syrup pour or a creamer. Those both sold at the market, and I have no doubt that if this mug was undamaged without a crack, it would have definitely sold also.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things a lot of folks were mentioning at the market was that they were buying for Christmas gifts.
That's right. We had many people actually specifically tell us they were getting Christmas gifts. Yeah. So it is time for us to really concentrate on and lean in on those kind of products.
Yeah. Then yesterday, Karen came over and she and I started glazing what we unloaded from the kiln yesterday because we had put a bisque load in. So we started doing that. So as you can see, there's lots of ghost here and they're only partially finished. I have all of the tops done for them, and now I just have to go and do the ghost bodies and eyes and mouth.
We had mentioned Karen coming over to help glazing. Remember that we also had Karen and Doug come on the last week, right? That was on
the Raku firing day. Yep. That was the day that she and I glazed the pieces that went into the kiln and came out on Friday.
So big shout out to Karen and Doug for helping on that day, because they both were in the studio, and Doug glazed several of the pumpkins. And he also made some things too. I don't think we've put any of that stuff in.
No, they were drying.
For bisque yet. They're still drying.
Yes, that's right. It's the days are blurring together, so it's a good thing I've started keeping that journal of what happens each day, because I sat down with it when we went to go do our coffee time this morning, and it was like, really? Oh wow, that's right, we did do that. I would have easily have forgotten so much of what happens in a week.
But keeping that log is going to enable us to look back
Yes.
and see exactly which days what things got done on. Eventually, we're going to want that to be a little more organized and a little more formal. As it is right now, we're just writing things down, kind of a stream of consciousness on
Yeah.
a notebook sheet, and that's working for now. Eventually, maybe we'll come up with something a little more sophisticated, but at least we are getting the information down.
Yes. And when we were doing our glaze load yesterday, that's going to be going in probably tomorrow night, I think. You called us outside because you're like, come here, you guys have to see this.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. It's that time of year that everything is starting to like ramp up, all the animals and
The squirrels are gathering their
insects
acorns and
yes.
all that stuff.
But we went out and there were bees and
So many bees. We have
all
this honey
kinds
locust.
of different bees.
I call it a tree, but it's a bush. It's only
Yeah.
about 7 feet tall. The whole thing was covered with bees of many description. We had great big giant bumblebees, a whole bunch of honeybees, and a couple of bees that I really didn't know what kind they were. But they were all swarming around the tiny little flowers, getting their pollen.
Yeah, and they were like heavy with pollen.
And it was so fantastic. The tree is growing right behind where I park our trash cans, and I had taken trash out, and I lifted the lid up and put the trash in, and then that's when I heard the buzzing, bzzz, all around me, and I kind of looked up because literally right above the lid of the trash can, there's this huge clump of the flowers, and just inches from my face were all of these bees that I hadn't even noticed. So I took a little video and some pictures, and that was a really great, awesome thing to see.
Yeah,
It really was.
it's so important to just kind of stop every once in a while though and really connect with nature and just, be aware. And sometimes it's easy to be so focused on here in the studio that other things it's like we put blinders
Right.
on. So it's important to take those moments.
It was
Yes.
awesome to see our little bee friends.
Yes, it was. We also had animals here in the studio. We had birds.
So Carolyn rescued 3 ostriches, 3 little baby ostriches.
No.
Yeah, so they're so ugly. We'll definitely show pictures of those. I have no idea how long it will be before Carolyn actually gets them to the size where she can put a saddle on them and ride them around. But I think they're going to be fantastic.
Guys, they're not ostriches. They're pigeons.
They're buzzards. They look like vultures.
They are pigeons, and they were abandoned. And the people called her and said, "Carolyn, do you think you could raise them because the mother is not returning? It's been over a day." And so she went and she got them, and yeah.
3 baby pigeons. There are probably uglier things on the planet than baby pigeons, but I can't think of any right off the top of my head. But we had a good time with them here in the studio, babysitting that day and feeding them out of a little syringe. And apparently, that was a couple days ago. Apparently, they are doing fantastic, and I think that Carolyn is going to have some really awesome pet pigeons to go along with all of her other animals that she has. I think it's great.
Yeah, chickens and turkeys and horses and
All kinds of stuff. Yep. So that was a fun thing that happened here in the studio.
Yes. Last week we had a question asked by Intently Listening.
So Intently Listening made a comment on our kiln unload video about the bottoms of our mugs and how clean they are. Now, I wish I'd thought ahead and pulled one of our finished mugs, because the only finished mugs I have we have coffee in, and we can't really show you this.
Well, I've got the one that is bisqued.
Okay,
Here we go.
you can show that. So the bottoms of our mugs, I really do take pride in the bottom of all of our ware. And I try my best to trim everything and get it looking really good on the wheel. And yeah, you're right. We can show it. This has been bisqued. This has been. This is only greenware. Now you may or may not notice that there's a bit of a shine on this, and it looks like it's got some kind of gloss or glaze on it or something already. It doesn't. I burnish the bottoms of my pieces whenever I can, which is nearly every time. And I use a little tiny teaspoon that I like. I have other tools that I sometimes use, but mostly the little tiny teaspoon. And after I trim the foot to where I want it, I will usually burnish it. and get it as smooth as I possibly can here at the greenware stage. After it comes out of the bisque fire, the bisque load, then Diana will usually it's Diana will apply the WP with underglaze. That's just an underglaze in a little bottle that she squeezes out, and then that goes in and gets glaze fired. When it comes out of the glaze fire, then I will wet sand it, and that's the process probably that takes it from an okay bottom, a decent bottom, to a really awesome bottom. And this really only works because of the burnishing. In other words, it's only super easy because of the burnishing. After it's been glazed, I spend maybe 30 seconds sanding the bottom of the ware with water, and then one of a couple of different kinds of tools. Now I've got these tools right here in front of you to show you. The first is a rigid diamond sanding block from Diamond Core Tools. In fact, all three of these are from Diamond Core Tools. There are other options out there. You don't have to go with Diamond Core. It's just that the Diamond Core ones, and in my experience, are really good. Now, this is rigid, and although it's on a foam block, it's not bendy or flexy at all. The block gives you a nice solid base. For doing flat surfaces like the bottom of a plate or something, this is ideal. Now, I also bought a flexible diamond sanding pad from Diamond Core Tools, and this is on foam as well, but this is by design bendy. And this is probably my favorite tool to use for sanding the bottoms, as evidenced by the fact that there is wear going on around the edge of this sanding pad. Because of that wear, I don't think I would buy this thing again. It's a little expensive if it's going to show wear on the edges like that. So what I will probably do is I'll probably continue using the Diamond Core sanding paper. Now, all three of these are 200 grit. I have them, all of these things, in multiple grits. But probably my favorite tool is this 200 grit sandpaper that isn't paper at all. There's a silicone back and then the diamond grit on the outside. And this does a fantastic job. Now, our pieces are sanded at 200, but if I really wanted things to be fancy, I would do another wet sanding with 400 grit. I have those too. These are really fancy tools. If you're a potter just starting out and you don't want to spend, this is literally $30. This little sheet is literally $30. If you don't want to spend that kind of money from Diamond Core Tools, you can get cheap sandpaper. Make sure it's meant for wet sanding, so it's got to be wet sandpaper. You can get just regular sandpaper and have the same effect. It's just that you're going to have to buy it more often because it'll wear out. But that's the secret to getting our bottoms really smooth. In fact, Yumi at the market, that's the really awesome South Korean lady who comes and talks to us all the time. She says that the bottoms of our mugs are smooth like a baby's bottom, is what she says, and that's funny to me. But no, we don't wax the bottoms at all. What we do is carefully glaze it, and then wipe the bottom. So this is, I'm not sure if you even had to wipe this or not, but carefully glaze it and then wipe the bottom as needed. And that's all we do. We're right now only using the wax on the handles to try to mitigate cracking if we're drying it too fast. But hopefully that answers your question. Now, you had also asked, intently listening, had also asked about our kiln shelves and how clean they look. It's not been that long since I cleaned them. I admit that I let them go way too long before I scrape them and apply a new layer of kiln wash, but that is extremely important for getting good, consistently clean bottoms on your wares. So how long has it been? It's been maybe 3 weeks since I did the kiln shelves, and before that, I think I had gone maybe 4 or 5 months before since the last time I had scraped them and cleaned them. So it's maybe something you would do maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Scrape the old kiln wash off completely, flatten anything that needs it, and then apply a new new layer of kiln wash. So a few times a year, and that's a cheap price to pay for some extra security. Okay, hope that answered your question. And if you have any more questions about our smooth like baby bottom pottery, please do let us know.
Yeah. So this coming week, we'll go ahead and talk about that. We're considering not going to the market on Wednesday because we really do need to spend some time here.
We're almost out of pottery.
And Wednesdays now at the market are super slow days, so I don't feel that bad for, leaving our spot vacant. Although I do, because then it makes the market look less full.
Right.
So part of me wants to go because I feel like, oh, we should be there because it makes the market have a better presence. And then the other part is like, okay, but I could make so much pottery that day instead.
We may end up splitting forces on Wednesday.
Going back and forth about that.
Maybe you'll go to the market with Christopher, and I'll stay in the studio making stuff on the wheel, possibly.
Yeah, but we will have the glaze load going in tomorrow night. And on, let's see. Oh, I had a new idea, remember, this morning. I was brushing my teeth, guys. I get weird ideas.
That's okay, right?
Sometimes when I'm doing mundane things.
We have to have those.
So anyway, I thought about doing a Found Object Friday.
Found Object Friday. And
Yes.
Diana was explaining this to me, and that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great thing. So we will find things in nature or outside of the studio somewhere, and then we will either use that directly on something we're making. Maybe we find something, a shell or something we want to use for texture, or a leaf that we want to impress into the clay, or possibly using that as inspiration. Maybe I'll find a cool shaped stick and I want to make a clay handle that resembles that for a mug or something like that. So Found Object Friday sounds like a fun thing.
Yeah,
it really does. Yep.
So I just thought it would be one more way to add some fun into the studio. And it reminds me of the times when we taught school that, even though we taught the same topics year after year, for a subject, we tried to vary how we did that, or somehow make it new so that it was interesting for the students and interesting for us. And so I am looking for ways to do that same type of thing here in the studio because I want it to be fun.
Yeah, I like the idea.
And I loved the mug marathon Monday that we had. I thought that was so much fun. We really had a good time with that. So we'll do some more of those as time goes by, and just trying to generate and brainstorm more ideas for other fun ways to make pottery.
Right. Yep. And that's really what it's all about. It's all about having fun.
So, but we will have, did I say we'd have a kiln unload coming out this week?
Yes. Kiln.
I did.
The kiln will be opening on, at the very latest, Friday. And then that new stuff will be going to the market on Saturday. We don't have new stuff hitting the table on Wednesday. I can't even pick up a piece and go do a raku firing because I haven't made anything out of raku clay.
But I feel like we're in a good spot as far as planning goes, and we are generating pottery, so that's a good thing. I know I've been a little bit quiet this morning.
I talk like a freight train, mostly because this is not my first cup of coffee, you guys. So I'm highly caffeinated is probably the problem.
Yes. Well, I've been fighting this allergy headache, and so I've just been a little bit more quiet, a little bit more subdued, but I have really drank my entire cup of coffee this morning while we've been sitting here, so I know I've not talked
Well, we have a very busy day ahead of us today. I'm doing IT tech stuff. I'm going to mount an outdoor Wi-Fi antenna to the house today so that we can get high-speed internet out here to our studio rather than having to rely on our cell phones. And I have that task is probably 90% done, but I have to bolt everything together and make sure it's going to work.
Yeah, because you did that yesterday while Karen and I were glazing. Not only did he do that, guys, he made our dinner.
Oh my goodness, it was so good.
Oh, it is, what is it? Bacon, potato, corn chowder?
Soup. It's a kind of soup.
Yes.
You know what? Maybe we should show a picture of the recipe for that
that
that. Would you guys like to see it? We'll put that at the end of our video. We'll show a picture of the recipe for that soup because it is delicious.
it was his mother's very favorite soup. And sometimes for Christmas, she would say to him, I really don't want any gifts. Just make me a pot of that soup. And
Now,
that's what she wanted.
we got this cookbook the year after we got married, so it's been a long time. And we will occasionally make things from this ancient cookbook, and that soup recipe is definitely one of the best things out of the whole cookbook.
But it was so nice, and he had biscuits and then an apple pie, and so Karen and I go on in, and the house smelled so good.
I made soup. The biscuits were not homemade; they were frozen, but they were delicious.
They were.
And the apple pie also was not homemade, but it was frozen, and it was also delicious, hot out of the oven. And it was a great,
It was really
great
nice
dinner.
going in like that.
Yep.
So, and today I'm going to be making in the studio, but then I have an eye appointment to go to this afternoon.
I'm hoping to make 10 sponge holders today. We have requests for the sponge holders.
Yeah.
They're basically small vessels, similar to Diana's whiskey cup, but larger, maybe twice the size. And then with a notch cut for the sponges. The ones that we have made are all gone, and I need to make more of those. They're easy and fun, and that's going to be my making project today.
All right then.
We
Well,
all
we
done?
need to get busy.
Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. For now, toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. See you later. Have a fantastic day no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.